Welcome to my Oasis 9-hole cup rookie walkthrough video. My name is Matthew, and in this video I will walk you through the shots I will use and some of the possible alternatives that we will see on the Oasis course. This is a guide and is not meant as the absolute solution, but more like a starting place to begin your note-taking process and help you prepare for the tournament. Play according to your clubs, balls, and skill level. Please remember that this walkthrough does not feature the actual tournament wind we will see, as that will only be known once the tournament begins. Also, while some of these shots are from my early days of streaming Golf Clash and the execution isn't the finest, I have taken care to explain to you any tweaks or changes I plan to make to guide myself to the lowest possible score. Finally, if you haven't yet subscribed to my YouTube channel, please do so now and hit the bell notification icon so you don't miss any future Erelic gaming content. Let's get into it. Welcome to hole 1 of the Oasis 9-hole cup. I played the drive with an extra mile at 10% downhill and a navigator ball. I like to use one topspin and one right spin to safely play over the rough and roll nicely up the second fairway. You can certainly play more aggressively here with more topspin and side spin, but be careful not to go too long. As well, you could use a more powerful ball to reach the green even more easily, but I find this is completely adequate for our task. After a nice drive, I'm left with a perfectly maximum distance sniper shot at 10% downhill to the pin. Use 2.5 backspin and aim directly at the hole. Be sure to account for any missing ball guide with a lower level club such as a Sniper 6, and by leaving that tip of the ball guide approximately halfway between the fringe and the cup. Here on hole number 2, you see me play it with a basic ball and an extra mile. I adjust this shot for 10% downhill with approximately 1 to 2 bars of topspin. In the tournament, you will likely see me play here with a quasar ball or katana, or better, and nearly maximum right spin to accompany the topspin. However, keep in mind that the goal is to get that ball nicely down the fairway near the top of that second fairway patch and slightly to the left of the fairway. And what that does is it gives us a nice angle of approach for our second shot. So speaking of that second shot, here with a basic ball and a level 4 sniper, it's particularly challenging. We played this one at 10% as well. Nevertheless, with a side spin ball such as a katana, we can add right spin to avoid the bunker on the right hand side. Now if your drive is far enough left, you'll have a very, very nice look on the second shot with those couple bars of right spin and possibly a couple bars of backspin, depending on the length of the drive. I'm accommodating my lack of side spinning here with curl, and this works out quite nicely, but that's going to be quite difficult to replicate for a consistent drop. Here on hole 3, with a basic ball and a headwind, it's a very low probability to get a drop. However, this general setup will serve you well to gain a safe birdie. I adjust for 10% downhill with a bar of backspin, and I would prefer to use a side spin 3 ball, such as a katana, and use less curl, yet both approaches accomplish the same goal of bouncing off the top left corner of the right fairway and then rolling out to the hole positioned on the left of the green. There is a rough bump approach directly to the pin that is very risky, or a bounce over shot to the left, but sadly I don't have any footage of those. I remember hole 4 to be a difficult hole. However, I was playing it with an extra mile 5 and a basic ball. You might consider a power 1 to power 3 ball here to reduce the need for overpower. I played the drive at 10% downhill and aimed to get the ball to the top of the second fairway. The tournament wind will dictate the exact spins, But generally, the idea here is that we want to bounce on the first fairway up over the rough with an adequate amount of topspin so that we get a nice rollout. Sadly, you see a little bit of a clippage of the green, but I believe this is a valuable example that demonstrates how a little bit of versatility on the course can get us to our goal. And now, since my drive was on the short side and I have a low-level sniper with an underpowered ball, I am forced to go with maximum overpower and maximum left curl. However, when you play this shot in the tournament, we will aim to rough bump just before the green with a couple bars of backspin, or bounce it over from the last fairway for a very safe eagle. There will be some who will likely find a route to the green in 2. However, I'm going to look to this hole as an eagle every time. Here on the par 3 7th hole from the Oasis course, I play a rough bump with a wood club such as a sniper or viper for the best chance of a hole-in-one. Adjust for 10% downhill elevation. You'll see my basic ball with 1 bar of backspin kick to the right, since the spot it lands is a left to right sloping hill. Compensate for this with your shot by aiming 1 to 2 green squares left of the pin, and you have an excellent opportunity for an extra drop. If you want a more conservative route, play to the right of the hill and use left and backspin with a little bit of left curl for a safe path to get the ball to green. 6. We are tasked with a reasonably treacherous drive and a low chance for an albatross. Using 10% downhill adjustment and a basic ball, I set up my extra mile level 5 with maximum topspin. Since I want my first bounce to be near the end of the first fairway pad, I add about 50% overpower and let the wind help the ball carry. Make no mistake here, the great left on the drive helped me, and you would be better served to use a power 3 ball with this club and decrease your need for overpower. But that's a good position right there, absolutely where you want to aim to finish your drive. So now, assuming the drive has you up this far on the third fairway pad, use a wood club such as a sniper to shoot for albatross. I play this shot at 20% downhill and my basic ball with a low-level sniper. I would like to have seen myself use maximum topspin here and still push that ball up, meaning less need to use overpower. If you have chosen to play with a power 3 ball, you will see that this shot sets up much more easily for a chance of an extra drop, but especially due to the left to right slope of the green, it's still not guaranteed at all. Aim to the left of the pin and let it roll down that slope for a nice chance. The par 3 7th hole from the Oasis course is one that I play differently depending on the wind conditions. The first way is at 10% downhill elevation with a basic ball and a sniper or viper in tailwind to bounce over the water and do a mini second bounce rough bump. I align the second bounce to be in the rough before the green and apply 1 bar of topspin to get the ball to the hole. The second method, if there is a crosswind or any degree of headwind, where we still play at 10% downhill, but I will use the extra mile rough bump with approximately 2 bars of backspin. I would prefer to use a ball with more wind resistance and more side spin, such as even a marlin, so that I can have a landing position slightly to the left of this example, but still be able to adjust the ball guide in line with the hole. This isn't an easy shot and it can be inconsistent, but with a careful setup and consistent execution, you do still have a good shot at a hole-in-one. Here on hole 8 from the Oasis course, we have a par 4 with many different options to play for eagle. I will show two methods on the right side of this hole, however there's very viable routes on the left as well. The drive is played here at 10% downhill elevation. I set my yellow ring near the top of the first fairway with the right side touching the rough. I apply approximately half a ball of right curl and bring it safely up to the second fairway. The approach is a 0% rough bump with a minimum distance wood club such as the sniper. I use 2 bars of backspin to get the ball guide to the hole. This shot needed just a slight bit more of an adjustment, but this is a route that I believe many players will take. However, the next example for this hole is a choice for right to left wind conditions and perhaps a more aggressive style of play. The alternate right side technique starts very much the same as the conservative play, but as you can see, I am stretching out the ball guide to visualize where the ball will land with overpower in an attempt to bounce off the second fairway and roll out to the third. We adjust for 10% downhill and apply maximum topspin and push the target back to maximum distance so that applying about 80% overpower gives us the desired outcome. Now if you look at the little shadow on the third fairway with the tree branch, that's where I'm hoping to land, is up near or slightly past that shadow. Get that nice bounce and roll out just up near the shadow. Gives us a really consistent marker for a short iron approach to the hole. So I do realize that this method isn't for everyone, but I want to demonstrate how you will be left with a maximum distance thorn at 0%. Sadly, with this level 2 club, the ball guide is a bit difficult to interpret and lacking topspin. I think this is another possible path to picking up an eagle on this interesting par 4. However, I would like to bring a runner or a hornet here in the future for a nice rough bump chance. The final hole of the tournament, hole number 9, is a long and treacherous par 5. My primary goal of this 10% downhill drive will be to secure the eagle. I played this drive with my extra mile and a basic ball to get as far up and to the right of the second fairway as possible. Of course, as with most par 5s, I will likely upgrade to either a katana or kingmaker for the extra distance and side spin. Don't forget to use some right curl if you don't have any side spin here on this drive. The second shot is also a 10% downhill play. I judge the wind here quite haphazardly, and in the tournament I will definitely use maximum right spin as well as a measured amount of topspin, approximately 2 to 3 bars, to get safely to the top of this fairway. Bring a wood club with more distance to avoid the use of any overpower. For the third shot, I adjusted at 20% downhill elevation using my thorn in minimum distance. I take advantage of the backspin it has to get to the hole. There is also an obvious rough bump here that can be played, and perhaps a club such as the hornet or runner with more topspin will be the best play if that's the route you choose. Thank you so much for taking the time to tune in to my rookie walkthrough for the Oasis 9-hole Cup. If you have any comments or feedback, please leave them in the comment section below and I will respond as soon as I can. Please remember to subscribe now to join Erelic Gaming and not miss out on any of my future content. It's been my absolute pleasure to share this walkthrough with you, and I look forward to seeing you out on the course. Good luck to you in the Oasis 9-Hole Cup.